Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to today's installment of Mike's Vehicle Vlogs, and I want to thank you for joining me today. The second part of our four-wheel brake job on the 2016 Ford Fusion SE. I did the front ones. The sun is still out. But did the front ones a couple hours ago, and then I took a break because the sun earlier was bothering me. So I had to take a break, eat, cool off a little bit. And it's July 4th. I mentioned that in the first half, but yeah, so it's a great day for 4th of July activities. But also the clouds have kind of been coming and going as the day's going on. So hopefully we'll have some shade periodically, and I'm gonna be burnt. It doesn't really matter at this point. But anyway, so the front brakes are done, and now we're gonna do the back brakes. So this is a 2016 Ford Fusion SE, and 102,000 miles. Like I said, we did the front pads and rotors a few hours ago. So kind of moved everything over here. Gonna lose some shade. Even my tools were burning me because they were in the the sun was so bad, but are they still pretty warm? Probably not as bad. I think it's because we're getting a little bit of the shade and stuff. Pretty soon the sun will be going over the house, but when we're on that side of the car over there, it probably won't matter. So that's about it. So let me go ahead and set everything up, and we will begin our rear brake replacement. Okay, so the very first thing that we need to do with this particular car is this Fusion does have an electronic parking brake, and you never want to work on the brakes on a car with the rear electronic parking brake. You could end up breaking it, and that's very costly. So cars with electronic parking brakes have a maintenance mode that you have to put the cars into, and there's a couple of ways to do it. On most cars, on a lot of cars I should say, you need a scan tool to do it. You have to go through the scan tool and tell the scan tool to put the car in maintenance mode. And Hondas, for example, you have to do it on a Honda, but some brands will actually give you the option to do it without a scan tool. And honestly, I think every manufacturer should do that. Ford is one of them. So you don't necessarily have to have a scan tool to put this car into rear brake pad maintenance mode. There was a little bit of a procedure to do. It's really not that difficult, but it can be done. So here's what you got to do. Okay, so this is going to be weird because I need both hands to do this. So sorry for the angle, but what you want to do is you have to have the key in the on position without the car running. You have to put the car in neutral, and then you have to hold the gas pedal all the way to the floor and push the brake pad or the parking brake button all the way down. Then while you're holding the button, you have to turn the key off, turn it back on. And at that point, you can hear all the chimes and stuff. So you probably heard the motors in the back also, but now the car is in maintenance mode, and that light's gonna stay on, and there's a message that's gonna be on. So that's how you know that you've done it right. At that point, you can put this in neutral and turn the key back off, and while the ignition's off, you'll see that the car is going to stay in maintenance mode. So what that does is it winds the motors on both brake calipers all the way back. So that way when we go to reset the caliper for the new brake pads and we use our tool to push the caliper in, the motor's not there, you know, because if you try to force, obviously if you don't do that and you try to reset the caliper without doing that to the parking brake motors, then you're gonna break the motors and you're gonna be sad. You're gonna be real sad. Okay, so as I kind of mentioned in the last video, I didn't bring out the corded electric impact today because I have a tiny fan over here that's supposed to be keeping me a little cool. So I didn't feel like unplugging things and replugging in things, so we're gonna loosen the or break the wheel torque with a hand tool while the tire's still on the ground. Then once I have all this loose, we'll go ahead and get the car off the ground and fully unload the rest of those lug nuts and take the wheel off. Also, like I've said in the last video, as in Ford tradition, his lug nuts are at the point now where they are swollen past the original size. So they're supposed to be 19s. I have a 19.5 socket. So yeah, they're all at 19.5. Pretty common with Fords. The plastic caps will get corrosion underneath them and they swell. So the lug nuts no longer become their original size. Sometimes they're even bigger than a half size, but his are perfectly 19.5. So let's go ahead and break our torque. As mentioned earlier, it is the 4th of July, so throughout the afternoon there's been people setting things off. So you're going to hear some noise probably, especially now that it's getting later in the day. Alright. Been a while since this thing's been off, huh? Ooh. Everything with this car today has been not kind. Alright, let's get this out of the way. Wow, yeah, these look bad. Ew. Oh yeah. Yep. I think these ones may possibly have been worse than the front ones. Oh yeah, for sure, because there is not much left of that pad there. Whew. Alright, so these look like they are also the Torx bit for the caliper behind these rubber boots. Probably a smaller caliper bracket size. First thing we gotta do is take this thing off if it's not seized on there, so we'll have to get our prying apparatus, or one of our prying apparatuses, which is just a flathead screwdriver at this point. similar to the thing that's up front, but a little simpler to kind of control, get off of there. There we go. Probably gonna have to reuse that, so don't throw that away. And I'm assuming maybe it's the same size Torx bolts. The front ones were T45s. I think I still have it on the thing. Yeah, I do. Feels like it. There we go. Loosen that one. Let's get the other one loosened. At least these you can see the actual pins a little bit easier to know when they're actually like maybe out all the way. There we go. Okay. Might have to pry this one apart. Take our longer prying apparatus. See if we can. There we go. There we go. And the pads fill right out, which is awesome. So this is probably the back one. And this is the front one. Yeah, the front one was way down. Alright, so unlike the front ones, nothing actually goes into the caliper itself. So these will sit on here like bugs. These will sit on the bracket, I'm pretty sure. Alright, so now speaking of bracket, let's see what size we are. Just 17, smaller, maybe 15. 15. Is that gonna fit back there, is it? Oh, not bad. Not as bad as the fronts were, but those were also bigger bolts. They were falling. Good Lord. Yeah. Now they're loose enough, we can do it by hand. There we go. I'm not looking forward to this because those other rotors up front took like over 10 minutes to get off. And with this, with the backs in particular, I can't turn the wheel to get more of an angle with the hammer, so hopefully these won't fight me as bad as the front ones did. But I'm not counting on it being easy. Alright, so I got it loose. Not much swinging room from the back, so I just kind of hit it really hard from the front and it loosened it up, so there we go. Alright, now we're going to try to get the rust off of the hub as best we can. It's never going to be perfect, especially with this little thing here, but we're going to do what we can. Oh yeah. Safety first. Don't want to spend the 4th of July in the ER with a piece of rust in the eye. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and just put a little bit of this grease around the hub here. Okay, so as I mentioned in the last video, the rotors are from AutoZone. We just did the Duralast rotors because the rotors, it really don't matter, but the pads do. And like I said, based on the experience that I've had with that one, she did not like aftermarket pads. So when I put the Ford pads back on it, the braking has been better, it's been quieter. The pads haven't been leaving as much brake dust. The pads wore down really fast with the aftermarkets. So I told my brother for sure he's getting Ford pads. So this is the part number for the rear pads. And like I said, with the rotors, it usually don't matter. The pads are really what make the difference in, you know, performing and how long your brakes actually, you know, last. Finally getting a little bit of that shade finally. The sun is at the point now where it's just about over the roof. That's going to be a shame because when we go to the other side of the car, we're going to be in the sun again. Unless it goes down fast enough and it reaches the tree line, then we'll be good. So these are not coated rotors, which means we have to kind of clean them real quick, get the machining oils and stuff off of them. What we're going to do is we're going to put it on backwards for a second, give it a quick spray, take a rag and just kind of wipe it down real quick. This thing's shedding, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and take it. As you've seen, this particular hub does not have a place for a screw, so it doesn't matter how it's oriented. But we'll get that on there. Get that up again. Okay, and that's it for that. Keep our rotor from sagging. Go ahead and put a bolt on there, a lug nut, and that pretty much keeps it up against the hub for now. Okay, and now we're gonna go ahead and try to get all, all the rust and stuff out of this bracket here. This is kind of tough because of how small and the fact that I don't have a vise, so it's kind of challenging, but we're gonna do what we can. That's actually really small, so we might need our hand brush for this as well. Also, safety first. I'll shake this. And these will never be perfect unless you have like a sandblaster or something. But you just want to get all of the large rust filled up. And there still might be some rust, but like I said, you just kind of want it to be as clean as you can get it. And that's looking pretty good, so we'll take it back to the car, spray it with the brake clean, and then we'll grease it up. Good thing I bought two. Okay, so we went ahead and put our grease on it, our brake lubricant. And now we'll go ahead and strap it back to the car and get the brakes all situated. Quick. Try to use the bigger ratchet to snug them up. Maybe. It's a weird angle. Sorry that all you seen was my leg. I needed the torque, body torque. Alright, so that's it for that. Let's take a look at our pads. They packaged them all together. Oh, they give us the little outside clip, so those things that we took off, you don't need them. If you buy the Ford ones, they will give them to you. Look at how tiny! But, look at how much pad's on there. Quite a bit. These are the front ones, and the ones with the weird little clip on the back. These are the rear pads with a little spring on the top. So, since we greased the hardware, I'm not going to grease the ears, but we'll just set that in there, and we'll take a front one and just set it there. Pretty simple. Alright, so it's caliper wind-up time, and this is the whole reason why you have to put it in maintenance mode before you do this. I'm not going to be able to do this one-handed. It's going to move around probably, yep. going in pretty good. Okay, so the boot's all flush, no air. Awesome. Let's go ahead and pop our pins out. That one's really tight. Oh, but it's sticky. Weird. I might need to push it through with my screwdriver. There it is. So let's go ahead and clean that stuff up, and we'll go ahead and put some fresh grease on there. Okay. This other one came out a lot easier. All right. Alright, and then, like we've seen, they sent us some fresh clips. In case you guys are wondering what this thing does, because of how this caliper is designed, without these, you know, the caliper is kind of loose from this side. So this kind of keeps everything a little bit locked into place, I think. Start one side. Try to get the other side started. I don't like it. I might use the old one. I don't like how this one's not going over all the way for some reason. And it doesn't matter which ones you use because they're the same. We're gonna use the old one for that. I don't know, something weird about these ones. They didn't want to stay on, and I was able to keep taking it back off way too easy. This was hard to get on, and it doesn't want to move as much as that other one did, so we're gonna use the old one. It's fine. But that's it. So let's put these caps back in. Okay, and one rear brake is complete. Now we have to go back to the sun side. Ugh. After we put our wheel on. Alright, and these wheels get torqued to 100 foot-pounds. Okay, so the battery on the camera is dying again. It's getting pretty low. So to save time, I'm gonna get everything apart and I'll show you guys how everything looks. I usually don't like to do that, but for some reason the battery didn't charge fully when I was taking my break. But I'm gonna go ahead and get the other side started and I'll show you guys what we got from there. Alright, here we are on the rear passenger side. Pretty much the same situation going on. Lots of rust. Minimal pad. Here's the pads from this side. Here's the back pad. Not looking too bad, but you can see it's kind of slanted. So the pad was stuck probably closer up this way, or something was keeping it from retracting. This pad's pretty flat. Hopefully this rotor doesn't come off as hard as the fronts. The other one came off not too bad. Maybe I'll get lucky with this one too. That one was only 3 hits. There we go. Tried to roll it, but I didn't want to roll. Alright, and just like that, this one is all done. Somebody was here before because the caps that go over those Torx bolts for the caliper, they were gone. It's not that really big a deal, it just kind of keeps the dirt and stuff from getting into those pins. But they're good. They're good now. They're nice and clean and slippery. And hey, I'm in the shade all of a sudden. The sun finally made it behind the house. Let's go ahead and get our wheel back on. And let's get this thing out of maintenance mode. Alright, and at last, all 4 brakes on this car are done. All the wheels are back on the ground. All of the wheels are torqued to its 100, to their 100 foot-pounds. So let's take it out and see how it drives, and let's first get it out of maintenance mode. You can see as soon as you open the door, if the car has been off for a while, it's automatically going to remind you that it is in maintenance mode. So basically, the procedure is the same. The only difference is instead of pushing down on the button to get it into maintenance mode, you hold it upward, like you're engaging the parking brake. So, oh, it's back. It doesn't want you to forget because that could cause problems. So, here we go with the crappy angle again. Let's go ahead and put our key in the ignition. Jeez. Gotta turn it to the on position. Oops. We're gonna put the car, well, we have to pump our brakes, but car's gotta be in neutral. So put the car in neutral. It's not going anywhere. Alright. And then you put your foot to the floor on the gas pedal, hold up. You're gonna hold it, turn the key off, turn the key back on. There we go. So it's out of maintenance mode. You can see that the brake light is on because the parking brake is set. So all we have to do now is just basically push the brake pedal in and push the button down. And that's it. It's like it was never on. So it started up. Pump the brakes again just to make sure all of the pedal feel is there. Everything feels normal there. Alright, so we should be good to go with air conditioning. Okay, turn the air down again just so I can maybe hear if there's any weird noises or anything. So we're gonna go down the driveway. I'm sure somebody's gonna ask me in the comments, well, do you miss your Fusion? Because mine was very similar to this. Mine was a 15. It wasn't an SE, it was an S, but it was very similar to this one. Didn't have the fancy cluster and stuff, but I do miss my Fusion. Driving this one, however, reminds me of how heavy these cars feel compared to my Civic. But yeah, I mean, I do miss my Fusion. It was a good car. It was a really good car. Alright, so we got our first stop sign here. They feel nice. Let's go this way. We're gonna have the sun in our eyes for a moment. He's got tire noise. Like I said, the car needs tires. And every bump I hit, the wheel's jerking because of that broken stab link that we have to get to in the future, the near future. I don't hear any kind of scraping or anything, so the rotors are where they need to be. Come up on another stop sign over here. I think they feel pretty good. Alright, so I'll drive it for a little more before I take it back, and we'll wrap up this video, but I don't think we've got any problems. Successful 4-wheel brake change. Alright guys, so I think we're done. Everything feels fine at faster speeds and such. So there really ain't much more to talk about. Sorry I had to cut this one a little short when we got to the other side. I don't know why the battery's doing the thing again where it's not fully charging, so I had at least a 2-hour break before I started doing the other side, and it was on the charger the whole time, but it only did like a half charge, so I don't know. My apologies. Hate it when that happens. But anyway, yeah, so the car will be back in a couple of future vlogs sometime soon, because he wants to do stuff for, you know, it being over 100,000 miles. He wants the transmission fluid done. He wants the coolant changed. He wants new spark plugs. He wants the he's gonna do tires, but I can't do that at home, obviously. And then that's both of those stabilizer links. At some point we're gonna try to do those at home too. Those could be kind of a pain because of the rust, but we'll see if we could do that. So that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed this vlog, thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. So I do want to thank you so much for watching. Happy 4th. Even though you guys are not watching this on the 4th, it's past the 4th when it comes out, but the thought that counts. Take care.